Well, good evening this uh, Sunday evening. Um, I had a friend that I talked to yesterday that used to help me in ministry. Me and him had talked early Saturday morning, and I was finding out about his ministry and what was going on with him. I hadn't talked to him in a while, and he gave me a verse. I don't know if he had looked up this verse for just me. It's a verse that was found in the book of Proverbs. It was found in Proverbs 27 and verse number 23. It says, "Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds." For the ones that might not know, I do 5 nursing homes every week. Some places I have the opportunity to get there an hour before the service to walk the halls, go see people that I know, go talk to ones that I know. And then there's a few homes that I go to that I get there right at the right time, and I don't have the opportunity to go and visit them like I would in other homes. And this particular verse, it says, "Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks." Well, I imagine over a period of the 5 services that I do every week, there might be 125 folks that I'll speak to on any given week, give or take, depending on whether they feel good to come or not. But usually it averages around 100 to 125. You know, this scripture says, "Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks." You know, a flock is considered to be like a flock of sheep. Well, number one, I don't feel like I have any flocks. I feel like that I have people that come to the service. But the flock is God's flock. It's not necessarily my flock. It's hard to know the state of every person that I deal with, because what I wrote down on this verse, I don't know some of their names that I deal with. I don't know their occupations. Now, some of them I do. There's some that I've got to know, that I know their names and I know their occupations and what they did. I know some of their families. That's one thing that I don't get the privilege of knowing too much, is their families. There's some that I don't know the room that they stay in. on these services where I go an hour early, I usually have my rounds of where I know where I check on people. And I'm honored to be able to have the opportunity to do that. Just to be just totally honest, it's hard to know their spiritual condition. Now, the verse says, "Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds." My number one duty is to expose the truth. You know, I'm limited to what I can do far as what I can do when it comes to this verse. I can be diligent to show up. I can be diligent to love on them and help them and to do for them as much as I can. But my number one duty is to expose the truth. My number one duty is to tell God's truth to the flock. And you know, I take it serious. I take what I do every week serious because I feel like that there's people that are bordering on the edge of eternity. Now today, I stood up in front of them and I read them 2 verses. This one particular place was in Matthew 24, where God sent a warning. In verse 4 of Matthew 24, Jesus told them to take heed that no man deceive you. I went over to Galatians chapter 6 and 7 through 9 and told them to, where the scripture says that take heed that no man deceive you. It's maybe not worded in just that way, but it was the same story. My job was to tell people to take heed that no man deceive you. You know, I believe that I try my best every week to bring something to them that they would examine their own heart and their own life. I have many friends in the nursing home. I have many people that I deal with every week. Some people know me. Some people don't care to know me. I invite everybody that I walk by. Some people I might not be as diligent as maybe other people. But I've come to realize that I can't be but one person. You know, this verse here told me, "Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks." I believe that what the Lord is really telling me here is that He wants me to know the state far as their spiritual condition. And as you well know, I can't look inside their heart. My job is to bring them the truth. That's my responsibility. That's my duty, to bring people the truth. Some places allow me more time than other places. And I have to use the time is allotted for me to do my ministry. So this verse is telling me, be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds. I don't actually believe this was just written to me. I believe this is written to anyone that fills the pulpit. You know, a pulpit shouldn't be a private pulpit. It really should be where the man of God should examine what it is that the Lord wants them to do. My job is to bring a message. My job is to diligently know the state of the flock. This is the Lord's flock. This is not my flock. I'm privileged to go into 5 nursing homes that God has given me the ability to go through the door and bring the gospel. Thank y'all for listening.